And just like that, we are back with Chapter 90 of The Universe According to Mugsy. Today is Friday, November 7th, 2025. I am MugsyTheCreator, the interdimensional time travel and waiter back from the past and the very distant future, here for one moment to explain the current events of the things that are going on, which are really just a product of the culture, which you have some contribution to. Only your own individual consciousness, and it feels so good to be done with that October season, guys. Take a minute. Just take a minute to drink it all in. You made it through, all of you. Well, almost all of you. Oh my God, Halloween Day. You finally make it. I mean, we have been talking about the October season and Halloween since, I don't know, May, when we all started coming back together at the Village Tavern, reassembling for another season together, which ultimately means we're working through October, maybe into the beginning of November, depending on how the tourist season goes. And we did. We made it all the way up to that October 31st day, and I woke up and I was ecstatic, guys. I could feel the energy in the air. I knew that it was going to be a crazy day, but that was it. One more crazy day. It wasn't like it was the first time that I felt this before. No. You feel these things on the weekend days, right? Saturdays, Sunday, Fridays, sometimes a weird Monday or a Tuesday. You feel this stuff coming on when all these tourists are just going to decide to slam on you and pack into your restaurant and start shooting questions, peppering them at you, all right? And we knew that this day was going to be crazy, but I knew my team, we made it through. All the crash outs already happened. There's no possible way on God's green earth that anyone else is going to have a crash out on goddamn Halloween morning. No way. We're so close to the end. That's it. It's over. After tonight, tomorrow morning, all the things on the street, they ain't going to be there, guys. All the Ferris wheels and all the carnival carts, all the people playing the drums, they're all gone. It's back to that silence. Back to that silent, quiet little sleepy town of Salem, Massachusetts that it is. So forget about it. Forget about everything. As soon as I come in that restaurant, I am running on adrenaline. I remember walking right through the door and looking at my girl Katrina, and she was like a little bit confused. And she was just like, what is this? And then I come around the corner with a smile on my face, and she's like, thank God you're excited. I don't know what it is, but everybody else in here is walking on pins and needles. Why? What are you talking about? We made it through. So I come through the restaurant and start high-fiving people, congratulating everybody on making it through. This is it. We can do it for another 8 hours, but of course, guys, of course we can't. There would be no fun in this story if we all made it through, right? You guys wouldn't be paying attention. Now, when do you think it's going to pop off, guys? This is just a multiple choice question. Do you think it's going to be at the end of the night when everybody starts drinking? Do you think it's going to be, I don't know, midday? It's just going to be too much and you're going to walk out with the cash you have? Or is it going to be ding, ding, ding before anything even gets started? See, there it is. Before anything ever gets started, we end up with the Coffe Fiasco. I don't even know what happened. I fully don't understand all the things that go on all the time, so I'm piecing this story together from a bunch of things that I overheard from some other people over here and over here. Because it's Halloween morning and I'm taking care of my first 2 tables. I got 2 tables. I was surprised at how quickly I got sat in the C section. But we're going to seat a lot of people today. We're going to hit capacity early. You know that that's going to happen. And we're going to end dinner service early. So I guess, whatever, a couple of tables first thing off the bat. Nothing to fret for me. But my friend Mary, pregnant Mary, she does the thing that we all do, which is she prepares herself mentally the best that she can for the day. But apparently she was just going back and forth and people could sense that she was on edge. I don't know how people sensed it, but that's the feedback that I got from the other people. They could just tell that this day is going to be a tough one for Mary. I don't know how they read it. But her first table comes in, Mary's in the lounge, and customers ask her for coffee. Now, we do not serve coffee in October. We also do not serve dessert. And depending on the day, we don't serve iced tea or Dr. Pepper, depending on where you're sitting in that restaurant, okay? So Mary tells a 2-top that comes in, no, we do not have any coffee. Problem with that is we do have the capability to make coffee. We make it for our employees in the back, but we are not going to waste our time trying to sell that shit to you for $3 a glass because it ain't that good. It's not what you're looking for. and it takes way too much time. We're looking for efficiency and speed. That's why we're trying to ply you full of liquor, because that's the cheapest, easiest way for us to make the highest profitability margin on coffee. Maybe we do make a fucking high margin, but it's not efficient at all because we are not a Starbucks, all right? We are the Village fucking Tavern. We serve some tourists some food during the day, and we are a nightclub for children at night. We are not your everyday barista looking, when people come in and ask for espresso, side fucking bar, people come in and they're like, oh, you really don't have a cappuccino machine? I would love a cappuccino after this lobster mac and cheese. Are you kidding me, dude? What doesn't fit in there? Is it the espresso or is it the lobster mac and cheese and the witch water and the fucking you're in a Titanic room? This is all tourist trap for you, buddy. Oh, I just can't take it. But anyways, sometimes people will put up a fight with you. They'll be like, what do you mean you don't have any coffee? And it's like, yeah, we don't have any coffee. Don't know what to tell you. Point you in the right direction of a coffee place, but I ain't even got time to be having this conversation with you, tourists. Oh, I forgot. It's been so nice in November that I forgot about this October energy and how quickly it comes back and how quickly the frustration or the energy, you can just feel it. Because what's about to happen next, I don't know if you can tell. The owner of the restaurant comes walking through the lounge, and he's got a cup of coffee, and this nice couple are like, excuse me, sir, what is that you got in that coffee cup right there? And he's like, well, this, my friends, this is a piping hot cup of coffee, and it's going to give me all the energy that I need for the day to take care of all my business. And they are like, well, interesting that where did you get that? That cup of coffee that you got right there, did you make that in this fine establishment? And then he's like, yeah, in fact, I did. We got some nice coffee over here in the back. It's the best. Starts my day nice and peppy, hot and whatever. And they're like, do you think you could go get us a couple of cups of that? And he's like, you know what? On Halloween day, normally I don't do this for customers, but on Halloween day, I think I'm going to go get a couple of cups of coffee for you guys. We're all going to hang out together and get caffeinated. So Andrew drops off these cups of coffee at the table, and then he just goes on about his day because it's Halloween. This is a good day. It's all over, right? I'm on the same page as Andrew at this stage of the game. And then fucking Mary comes back to the table, though. Because that was what happens. When you're a waitress, you go away for a little while, then you come back to the tables. So now all of a sudden, she shut down these people's coffee requests. And she's like, we don't fucking have that shit here. Thing is, now they're sitting there with 2 cups of coffee. I couldn't imagine the look on her face when you come around the corner after you just said, no, we don't have any of that. And they're sitting there with the thing that you just, and they're like, excuse me, miss, do you think you can get us some cream and sugar? And she's like, no, I don't think that we can do that. What has gone on? Did you go outside real quick and get coffee from somewhere? Is this Candid Camera? Is this punked? Ashton Kutcher, are you hanging out in the back? Because how in the fuck did all this happen? And now the other tables are realizing that Mary's been called out for being a liar right to her face. And she wasn't lying. You know, we do not have coffee for the customers. We don't sell it to you. It's the same rule that we've been doing all October. And now all of a sudden I got to sell it to you. And I just wasn't expecting it. Now all the other tables are looking at me. They thinking I'm a liar. And I am also pregnant and hormonal. And I've been doing this shit for 31 days, plus September, plus August, plus July and May and April, waiting for this day. And I'm just fucking done with it. And that was the end of Mary's day. And there may have been some words exchanged, maybe in the back. I don't know, because I wasn't there. And I'm only hearing things like, telephone game. I'm getting things telephoned, so I don't know what's the truth. There may have been a person who walked out with a backpack. And that person may not be welcome back at the Village Tavern to wait tables. And her shifts might have gone onto our trade board system immediately in the middle of the day. And the group chat may or may not have been blowing up. I'm sure it was. I'm not in the group chat, so honestly, I don't know. And then her husband's Shifts may have been on the trade board for his job that he works in the restaurant, and then nobody else heard nothing. And then we don't hear nothing no more. So my guess is that was just that was a nice, polite thank you for everything, and it was a goodbye, and we go our separate ways. I didn't think that the crash out was still coming. I wouldn't have walked in the restaurant high-fiving everybody like, yes, we did it. If I knew that this was going on, and then we were going to have that. But it's just the way that the cards are dealt sometimes. Sometimes it's just your time to move on, girl. I think Daniela figured that shit out last week on the Crashed Out episode, and I think Mary realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm about to be a mom. We got other things going on, and I just can't be dealing with this. It's too much stress, too much pressure, too much of this running around that I got to do for, I don't know, not enough money. I'd rather sit at home with my baby, and I think that's the point that she's at right now, and I couldn't be more happy for both Mary, her baby, and her husband. Oh, I love you guys. I can't wait to see you again. I can't wait to get you on the podcast. Come and tell your side of the story. But that was just the Coffe Fiasco. I mean, we still got the rest of October to get through, which is only about 6.5 more hours. For us, the waiters, my boy Tim, he must have had a good day. Because what happened when Mary leaves her section, I don't know if he got tipped on some of them tables that might have been mad. But he might have got something for being the waiter that took over and those people not being complete pieces of shit. So I think he doubled up his money real quick first thing in the day. All of Mary's tables plus all of Tim's tables. Nice. We know that we're going to shut down this. So the rest of the day, it is what it is, right? The rest of us just get to fucking moving. And it sucks. And all of the people are foreign. I don't know why all the people are foreign, but they're all foreign. And they don't want to, they want to ask a lot of questions. Because these are the foreign tourists that are here to be there on Halloween. Because they want to see what the fuck's going on. They're not here the rest of the month. They spent all of the money to stay at the hotels on the expensive days. This is the reason that I don't usually work Halloween Day, and if I can stay away from Halloween weekend, I do. I love all the weekends leading up to Halloween. All those people are super duper nice, but for whatever reason, when we get down to Halloween Day, it's a different clientele base that I don't enjoy serving as my customers as much as I normally do. So, we get through all of that. And sometime around 6 o'clock, they tell us we're going to stop seating at 6 o'clock. They tell us the restaurant's full. We've hit capacity. We're going to stop seating at some point around 7 for dinner service. And which is like, oh my God, we only got an hour left. Boom, this is going to be amazing. Sometime around 6:30, they say it's not going to be 7, it's going to be 7:30. Sometime around 7, they say it's not going to be 7:30, it's going to be 8. But it doesn't move from 8. It just can't be. We're already at capacity. We need to let some of this dinner crowd out so we can get more of our bar clientele in for the evening. We've had a line all goddamn day long. The line stretches all the way around the goddamn Salem little fountain thing that they got out there. It goes down the street to the goddamn Peabody Essex Museum, like the mall. We are so packed to the brim. Everyone is packed to the brim. It's goddamn Halloween in Salem, Massachusetts. The biggest Halloween party in the world. I don't know why it is. I don't know what darkness exists in my fucking favorite city in the entire world. But it's the reason that everyone's looking at us on October 31st. So, we have finally closed dinner service for the evening. I can't get my car out until 11:30, so I'm stuck there. All I want is food. All I want is to go home and be done with this whole October season, but I can't leave before the party starts. It is an evening of enjoyment with me and all of my friends to sit down and reflect on all of the craziness that we went through, how much money we've made, what we are all up to next as we all cross back into whatever real lives we were leading before we fell into this tourist October season in October in Salem, Massachusetts, the darkest city in the world that for some reason everyone pays attention to on Halloween. So now my wife comes in, sneak her in the back. We must have ate some food. She must have brought me something. And then we all get to hang out, smoke some weed out back, a lot of people go put on their costumes. I was playing Matt the waiter that night, so I just kept that shit on. And we just enjoyed each other's company. for the first time in quite some time. Lots of people got drunk. I smoked so much weed out on the back patio. Got to hang out with the food runners, the bussers, the wait staff, the bartenders, all of us that made it through. All of us that got to actually fully make it through the month, which is an accomplishment, if in nothing else but your own mind. And it's also the time when you know when it's time to give it up. If you made it through a bunch of Octobers and you hit this one and you're like, nah, it doesn't feel right, then it's your time to be done with the October seasons for a while. It doesn't mean you can't come back to it, but it is pretty wild. I don't even know where I'm going to go. I don't even know where I'm about to go. But right now, I do not want to sell you any deodorant for your balls or anything else, really, at this moment. What I would like for you to do is go to MugsyTheCreator.com. You can find my Patreon link, which enables me to do this all for free, living off $12,000 a year in my paradise. But you can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and a whole host of other places. Let's see where I'm going to go with this one. How's he going to land that plane? Back to the episode. My girl Jess is right in the middle of her October prime because she ran the sheriff of the Village Tavern. It's weird. It's weird to see your boss at any point in time. I don't care what you're doing, whether you're an accountant, whether you're a stripper, whether you're delivering groceries for Uber. Whomever your boss is, it's weird to see him in assless chaps. It's also weird to see the person in charge of everything, the general manager of the whole goddamn restaurant, running things efficiently with an eye on safety, an eye on the kitchen, an eye on time frame. We're paying attention to where the money is at, where it can be made, because the season's over. This is it. This is the last laugh. Can we get money off the door? Can we sell these people in here any more drinks? Can we make any more money off the food carts, right? Our licenses expire at the clock of midnight to be doing half the shit that we're doing. So this is the time. It was hilarious. I think I might have a clip somewhere on here. But also, the fire alarm goes off. I don't know if that was someone wanting Salem to shut down the party early on that Halloween evening. So when the fire alarm is pulled anywhere in the mall in Salem, it goes off in our restaurant because we are attached to the mall. People start to file out because they don't know what's going on. There's too much happening in the news for them to not look for an exit in today's day and age, 2025. So the people start filing onto the patio where I happen to be out there smoking a little marijuana. And my girl Jess is standing there like, everyone back inside, dressed as a sheriff, 3 or 4 security guards, just letting everybody know, this is not an emergency. You do not have to leave. But she may have been saying it with this tinge in her eye that said, you are going to turn around right now and go back in. I don't care if you buy anything else from me. I don't care if you leave 10 minutes after this. But for right now, you're going back inside. It was so funny. That couldn't stop us. The fire alarm sheriff came and turned that shit off. And we were back to having a Halloween party as soon as 11:30 came around. I was looking to get my ass out of there. And it was fun. It was so fun. Is there anything that I missed? Oh, the people. In today's day and age, it is hard enough when I walk up to a table to know whether I should say, Miss, ma'am, sir, young man, what's going on, guys? Hey, how are ya? I'm trying to do my best to figure out and pick up on the thing that you want me to say so that we're on the same team and you and I can go into this dining experience together like we're trying to achieve the same goals. It is so goddamn hard to do that when men are dressed as women and women are dressed as men. That's what it's like in September and July and December. It is so much harder to do in October when people are dressed up. Men pretending to be women, women pretending to be men as a costume. And then you have to separate that from now you have the tranny movement that's going on in the United States of America, where you have men pretending to be women seriously and women pretending to be men seriously. So you have all these different dynamics that are happening. And then in my restaurant as well, we have people's face painted as motherfucking cartoon characters, lizards, and animi that I do not understand. Some of them got heads and costumes and masks on, and they still want me to address them correctly. I got no time for that. None. When you come into my restaurant, I have zero time for that. And that's me being generous to you. If you find me in my goddamn private life, I'm probably going to be as polite as I possibly can be because I want the best for you. But I'm not calling no other... You're not inventing words for me to call you, all right, buddy? I'll give you a name. I'll give you even a last name, surname, middle name if you want. You can name it whatever. You can make them feminine. You can make them masculine. You can make them up for all I give a fuck. But as long as they're your names, I will call you those things. I'm not going Zers. I'm not going Zims. I'm not going Jims. I don't know why. Maybe my mind will open up to these other possibilities in the future, and maybe this is me, an example of me being narrow-minded right now on the podcast. I don't know. But what I'm telling you is I just don't have time for that in my reality. Okay, guys? That is the end of October. What else has been happening? What's been going on in the world? There must have been some current events going on in your life. I forgot to talk about this last week. I can't believe that we missed in all of my Terry Rozier gambling rant on the NBA. We didn't even discuss the World Series that was going on. And Shohei Ohtani, remember that guy? He's an interesting character, that Shohei Ohtani, a knucklehead. Now, I don't know if you guys ever saw this video. Warren Sapp got in trouble a few years back now because he used to be one of the people in the NFL that when all the rookies would get signed, they'd bring them in to a big auditorium, and they'd have a bunch of veterans give them lectures. Warren Sapp was one of these people who would give them lectures, and what Warren Sapp made everyone keenly aware of, because this video was eventually leaked to the public and it was released widely on the interwebs, was you need a fall guy. You're the rich one now. You're going to need a fall guy. You're going to need someone who's in the car with you that they can blame the gun or the drugs on, who it could just as well have been yours, but it wasn't. It was his. So that way you have it if you need it, because you got a guy carrying the stuff for you, and you can't afford to get in trouble because you're worth too much money. So this guy's going to take the fall for you. I only speak English, as far as I know. I definitely channel energy and information coming in through other ways. So if I had a translator hanging around, that would be my fall guy. Shohei Otani doesn't speak English, but he's an interesting character because his translator just happens to love gambling. Just happens to be a degenerate, just a all-around degenerate gambler. And that's the one interesting thing about Shohei Ohtani. And then, except for the fact Shohei Ohtani's pretty interesting. Did you know he hits the home runs and he pitches for the strikeouts? That's something that not most people do. And so he's from another country and he does that, and that's pretty interesting. And because of that, he got an interesting contract. I guess there's a lot of interesting things about Shohei Ohtani. He got an interesting contract where they're going to pay him $1 bajillion, but it's only $2 million up front. It's backloaded in 14 years. He's going to get $250 million or $1 billion or something like that. But that's the first deal I've ever seen. I wanted to be the general manager of the Boston Red Sox when I was a kid. After that, I wanted to be the chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank, which is an interesting thing for a young person to want to be. Either way, I was paying attention to contracts and interesting things like that. Over time, for like a long time, I was looking into things like that. Just paying attention, just for the fun of it, just for the hell. So this is the first time I've ever seen someone take time value on money and figure out what would be best for them, and then do the complete and total opposite of it. Just do what would be worse for them in the long run. Because inflation is going to be eating away at all of that money. So you're going to get paid less in the future, 1,000%, than you are going to be today. So perhaps because he's so busy hitting the home runs and doing the strikeouts and then driving his translator to the gambling places, that he has no time to get a financial advisor that would advise him that all of the decisions he's making are kind of against what anyone else in the world would do for their best interest. If their best interests are to make money for the talents of the things that they're doing. He's just an interesting guy. I have no idea how it works. Thank the Lord. I only gamble on myself. That's the only gamble that I've ever made in this lifetime, I guess. Sure, I put some money on some stocks from time to time, but I got really good at that. I got so good at putting my money on the goddamn stocks that I could predict the future that I didn't like it no more. Because I saw the future, and when you see the future, you ain't going to want to gamble the stocks on it either. So that's when you're going to start gambling on yourself. Start using that compound interest to develop some other skills in this universe, because I forget where I was even going. Oh, the gambling. I'm so lucky that that's not my thing. But it does appear to be other people's things. And it clouds their vision because their desire, therefore that high, that I don't fully understand, is clouding the way that they walk around and see the rest of the world, because there's always this itch that they're looking to scratch. And my guess is something happened somewhere along the way. I don't know if it was from Japan. I don't know if it was here in the United States of America. I don't know if it was the MLB that caused it. I don't know if it was professional Japan over there. Or Shohei is from Japan, right? I don't even know where he's really from. Maybe it was Los Angeles that got him. But there's something more to this story, because you don't get to be that interesting and then say nothing about it because you blame it all on your translator. But it's no surprise to me that all of this was swept under the rug almost immediately at the beginning of the year, because this was the Shohei Otani that wound up in the World Series playing against the team. He lost to the team, but it's still pretty cool that Shohei, the biggest star in baseball, by far the biggest name that they are pushing on all their stuff, also made it to the championship. Now, I don't know how you would rig baseball. I know that the Black Sox scandal of 1920, they got in trouble for it. I know that was it the Cleveland Indians that were banging against the dugout drums or something a couple of years ago? And then some people had electronic devices that they were using. There's hand signals going on. I guess, hypothetically, with HD television and cameras and electronic devices, there could be ways you're trying to figure out. I guess cheating's always been a part of baseball. So I guess it would be not that much of a surprise, I guess, if we found out there was more cheating going on in the baseballs, and somehow they were able to rig it to get the Shohei to the World Series. And I guess, I don't know if it's rigged all the way. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I'm not a gambler. I don't care. I don't watch much of the baseball anymore. My boy Kurt Metzger told me that it was a Masonic ritual of distraction. So I don't know. As soon as I learned that, I kind of paid less of attention to it. But we had the Shohei. He was doing that thing while I was waiting tables in October. Tom Brady, he does some things. Tom Brady's an interesting character too, because he doesn't tell us a lot of the things that he does. And I don't know him. I don't know him very well. He's a good friend of mine because he's taught me a bunch of lessons. Same thing with Bill Belichik, but Bill's an easy read. You know, if I was reading Bill like a book, I would say he's a part of one of these families, these oligarchical families, based on what his father did in the military. I do not understand what that is. That's what allowed him to get to Phillips, Exeter, or Andover, whichever one of those prestigious academies. He met his friend who silently worked with him throughout his football career, or his handler. I don't know exactly how that works. And Bill was able to use his familial relationships to achieve some sort of success in his father's eyes by attacking something with military-like precision. The problem was Bill had some sort of ethical hang-up with going into the military and murdering all the people and having all those people go to war for him. So instead, what he did was he found a game of distraction and he attacked that with military precision. And even though they were rigging games against Bill Belichik, he still found a way to come out on top using their own magic, their own dark magic against them. Who is them? The owners. That's who Bill was fighting against. Now, somehow, Tom Brady got wrapped up in all that magic game, or maybe Tom Brady's just the same thing, one of these oligarchical families who we were going to decide to make one of the 30 quarterbacks that are the face of each franchise, whether they like it or not. There's only 30 franchises, 32, 31, whatever the fuck it is. They're probably trying to expand that shit to 79, but it's hard to do. Now, we talked last week when I was like, isn't it funny how it's all the same quarterbacks and the same kids, that familial relationships, kind of like the presidency going on in the quarterback regime? Well, Tom Brady, that wasn't the way that his story went. That certainly wasn't the way that the story was sold to us. And I believe all of it. I mean, how could they be pulling one over on us? Well, I have to remember, I'm a retard. Okay? I'm a retard and I don't understand much. Plato's allegory of a cave is something I think about all the time because every time I come out the cave, I realize how much of a retard I was being while I was inside the cave. And the thing is, you never stop coming out of caves. I keep coming out of the goddamn caves because he told us a couple of the things that he did. He eats avocado ice cream, I guess. And that maybe makes Tom Brady Tom Brady. And he has another guy stretch him out. He released some documentary footage that proves he kisses his kids on the lips. And his face has changed a lot. Those are the things that we know about Tom Brady. He had a wife he had a woman that he had a kid with. That at the time, the media would have made a big deal over, but they didn't with him. And they allowed him to get married to Gisele Bündchen, start a family, and become this family man. Project nothing but family until the end of his career, where he chose football over family publicly, I guess. And then his wife dumped him. At the time, he also was the best quarterback in all of football, won more rings than any quarterback in history. He sold a bunch of crypto scams to people, scammed a bunch of people out of their money. I think he got scammed out of a lot of money too, by some of the crypto things that were going on, all of which crypto is supposed to be the secure, safe investment. It's supposed to be safer than money. Isn't that funny? And then Gisele, I think she started sleeping with her jiu-jitsu instructor and maybe is getting married and having kids with him. But Tom there is going around not selling the cookbooks. He did some football broadcasting that I don't think anybody cared for particularly. And now we find out that he's cloning his dog. Oh, it's making more sense to me now. Gisele Bündchen, when he got married to Gisele Bündchen, she wasn't just like a little bit of like a better model than everyone else. Gisele is somewhat of an empty vessel, a hollow vessel with no opinions to be used for branding purposes, which is why she keeps her mouth shut. That is very valuable in this world. I don't know why. It's why they can put her face and her beauty on anything and use it for sales, almost as if it's magic, right? Magic the way that she is perceived. So when she was a Victoria's Secret model, she got paid $55 million. I forget what year this was. And the next highest Victoria's Secret model got paid $5 million. The one behind that, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's like how much better she was than everyone else. So there's a whole lot more to the story now that we find out Tom Brady's cloning dogs. My friend Andy from Control Alt History did an unbelievably brilliant video that I'm going to put somewhere around here. And it was on cloning. And all of the articles about cloning from the 1970s and how close they were and how many people in the 1970s believed that shit was already going on. I'm not saying Tom Brady's a clone. I'm saying he cloned his dog. That's weird as shit. That is a weird thing to be doing. You are invested in the company. You are bringing it to light. So any of the behind the scenes stuff you guys have already tried in your own personal time. Guaranteed, right? Because why? Just, if you don't know what you got, why would you be out there selling a different version about cloning dogs to celebrities? That's a commercial I don't see on TV much. How come you don't sell that to me? How come I don't see that commercial on the Super Bowl ads? That seems like new technology lots of people would like to hear about at least. Maybe they don't want to do it. Sure, Portnoy says there's enough dogs to go around in shelters that are already abused, but maybe you want a specific one. Maybe you want to go in, take the embryo or take an egg and get rid of all of the DNA that's inside of it, and then take some blood DNA samples from your dog that you want to clone or a human that you want to clone and put it right inside that egg so that you only have the genetic material of one person because you've already gotten rid of the genetic material of the other person inside the egg, which is now just a hollow vessel. A hollow vessel for you to implant your seed in again and continue this bullshit cycle that we are stuck in. Are you starting to understand some of the crazy things that are going on in the world around you? Some of the magic that's happening, I don't even fully understand it in real time, but I understand what a false idol is now. These people that have entrapped me into believing that they're special because of something that they did. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But getting me to believe they did something special is just as impressive as them doing something special. Maybe 30 people got together in a room. Maybe they do it once a year. And maybe they pick the outcome of what's going to happen. I don't know. How the hell would I know? I'm a waiter at the Village Tavern in Salem, Massachusetts. I made like $12,000 last year. All right? But I do channel the energy and the information from the Akashic Record, reading all the things that are possible to read all around us by just paying attention, staying inside my gratitude, being grateful, and just trying to be happy. There's a whole lot of people that appear to be happy about this guy, Mamdani, who's now the New York City mayor, which is cool. I don't live in New York City. I don't even live in Boston, but I have a hard enough time with Mayor Michelle Wu's policies in Boston. Mamdani is an interesting guy. He's got some curious things about him, like my guy Shohei, right? Remember Shohei Otani? Mamdani? Otani, Mamdani? What are they doing to us? What are they doing with these names? Mamdani's a name that I didn't know a year ago, and now he's the mayor of the biggest city in the United States of America. I remember there's another person who I didn't... Remember Obama? I didn't know his name. And then he was a senator for one term, and then he was the president. Remember Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez? She's a little different than the Barack Obama, but I didn't know her name either. They just made her a rep. She ain't smart enough to be one of the senators, not yet anyways, and she's definitely not ready for the presidency. But she used to be a bartender working in a bar like me, except for it wasn't at the Village Tavern. It was in Queens, New York. That's important because when the Democrats are going looking for politicians, there's many ways to do it. Lots of people want to be a politician. Lots of people believe they have what it takes to go out there and make a change for the good in the world for the people. Problem is, if you are in politics and you're in the business of picking politicians, you're not looking for those people, so you can write them right off. What we're looking for is hollow vessels of humans that are going to not get in the way as we achieve the outcomes and power movements of the things that are going on. So I'm looking for someone whose life sucks, who I can make them have a better life if they can keep their mouths shut and say the things that I want to say. No thinking is involved, okay? You're a part of the puppet show now. That's what we're trying out for. So they have open tryouts, like a casting call. That's what they're looking for. In fact, if you think you know somebody, you can submit somebody else for that casting call. So that's exactly what Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez's cousin, I believe, might have been brother. I think it was cousin. I did for her, submitted her, and then for sure than shit, they saw her, they wanted a call back, because she is a very attractive young lady, that one, anyways, so that's how she got picked. Did you know that? That's how she got picked to be the person that she is now, always with the talking, and then nobody noticing that when she's talking about the one thing, she's also doing the thing she's talking about. You gotta be watching and paying attention, okay? Now, she's like my Mamdani guy, because I didn't know him, and now I know him, and he's in the charge of the things. I haven't looked into this guy's background. I haven't looked into it at all. I did see a picture of him on the internet that had me curious because I would have gone in and done a little bit of research for you guys, the viewer, but all I had to do was see one picture of him with Alex Soros and confirm that he gets his funding from George Soros. Would you guys know George Soros? He's an interesting guy too. This guy, he was around during the World War II. You guys might be familiar with the World War II. There was a bunch of Jews that were killed in what was called the Holocaust. He was the one that found the Jews and told the Germans where to get them. So you can draw your own conclusions on this guy and what he is like as a human. But he is a billionaire and he's got lots of money. And he likes to do similar things, I would say now. Except with all the money, he can do it in more finesseful ways. You also learn a lot from the time when you're a child doing this, and that's how you're raised, to now being 80 or 90 years old on death's doorstep, teaching your son how to do the things that you were just doing. Curiously enough, this Soros character, George, claims to have contact with an evil demon spirit that he allows to inhibit his body. So what he does is he invests in politicians in the United States, a country he doesn't live in, to, I don't know, see if he can make our life a little bit more enjoyable. Maybe that's what he's doing. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to ruin our life. I don't know. I don't have $1 billion. It's not what I focus on. But I do see that his son now has taken over the family business, and his first coming out party was New York City mayoral campaign, and Mom Donnie. Oh, no. Isn't that interesting? A self-hating Jew, that's George Soros, the one who informed on his other Jews' whereabouts. When he knew what they were going to come do was murder those Jews, also a friend of the state of Israel, is backing Mom Donnie, Islamic man who is standing with Hamas and Palestine, calling out Israel for its genocide on the Palestinian people. It is quite an interesting turn of events that's going on here. It's like he is, the Soros character is funding both sides of the wars that's going on. I just keep asking myself, how come every time I'm in New York City, we're talking about Jews and Palestine and Israel? It's the biggest city in the United States of America. The only thing that's on the menu is what we are saying about Israel and what they're not doing to Palestine. It's so interesting, the reality that we live in. It's a creation of your own individual consciousness, which I try my best to control by eating healthy, breathing, and remembering to laugh at myself because I know nothing and I am always coming out of a cave and recognizing how stupid I was 15 minutes ago. So I try and remove the judgment from myself in the present moment that we're living in now. That's what allows me to be a time traveler and pick up on all of the wisdom that's been sitting in my own reality, my past and my future, waiting for me to connect the dots and pick up on. When you start to read the wisdom of your own interconnectedness that I call my heart-mind coherence, because your heart is magnetic, your mind is electric. All of the world that we exist in is electromagnetic. We move throughout a medium which you are unable to see, that is the ether. It makes up 99.9% of everything inside of our universe. We don't fully understand it yet, or at least the masses of us do not. Different information has been controlled for many, many years, many, many millennia and decades. Information will always be controlled by those who have power and access to it, unless you take that control back yourself by finding your own power, which is the only thing that you have come here to do, is explore that light that you create. You know what I'm talking about, man. Look at all the things that I just discussed so casually. Picked up on all of these things that were sitting out there in reality for you to pick up on yourself. And it doesn't matter whether I'm talking about the merry crash out on Halloween or what else did I talk about today? Otani. Is that the first time you really thought about the fact Ohtani was caught gambling and they blamed it all on his translator and now he's in the World Series? Is that really the first time you connected those dots? What else did I talk about? Tom Brady. He's a weird motherfucker. He is. He's just weird. It's weird that he loves throwing touchdown passes so much. It's so weird how much he loves this game of football, where many of his friends die of CTE from banging their heads into each other. It's so weird, the precision with which he pays attention to that sport. It's so weird that he's cloning his dogs. Is that the first time you thought about all this? It's weird that he kissed his son on the lips and then put that shit in a documentary for everybody to see. That was weird too. There's so much weirdness going on in the world, but it's all there for you to be able to see and create your own reality. Whether you want to include that weirdness or not, you don't have to pay attention to any of these things. My life's so much different now that I pay attention to different things. I become a different human, living inside a different reality that I control with my own consciousness, and I use the discernment that I've picked up from my heart-mind coherence to feel my way through the intuitions that tell me which path to take of the paths that are laid out before me, because the universe is you inverse, and I just need to love all of the things that surround me. And that's what allows me to go through the world so easily. But anyways, this has been fun, guys. Chapter 90. I got to go back to the restaurant tonight for what is. Oh, do I do it? Nah, I'll save it. Do I save it? Man, I didn't even talk about the Monday, though. That's the thing. This has been such a fun podcast, guys. This has been such a fun podcast. Last story, I promise. My boys, KFC in Feitleberg from Barstool Sports, KFC Radio, was the first podcast that really I took hold of even before Joe Rogan. You listened to Joe a little bit, but you weren't sure what a podcast was supposed to be. KFC, Big Cat, and Feitleberg made KFC Radio podcasting to me. It was what I thought about. They were hilarious. The stories they told, the interaction, the chemistry that they had together, where they were at in their life and fucking around with the things that they were fucking around with was exactly what I wanted to be paying attention to and learning from. I don't know why. It was just this chemistry that was undeniable. Their show was so good for so long. It can be at times still, I think. But the people have changed over the years. That's just kind of what happens. Shows move in different directions. They focus on different things. One of the things they used to do was Cubicle Chronicles. KFC, when he was a blogger, used to rank all these days of the year. Which ones were the worst for people in the office? Now, the Monday after a Sunday, July 4th, July 5th, right? Oh, that's got to be one of the worst Mondays of the year. How about the one after New Year's? That's a bad Monday. The one after St. Patty's Day, maybe that's a bad Monday, depending on where St. Patty's Day is. But all I could think about after we finished that weekend of Halloween and I came in for my double on Monday was KFC in Feitleberg and how they needed to an additional column and category where they have the Monday as a waiter in Salem, Massachusetts after the October tourist season. I have never been so bored in my entire life. I couldn't believe it. Now, if you're a waiter, there's only so much you can do in the restaurant when there's nobody there. You can clean up a little, but you're also getting paid $6.75 an hour, which is a huge upgrade from the $2.50 it used to be, not but 5, 6, 7 years ago. But nonetheless, you cannot buy a sandwich for lunch with your hour's wage. So it's not like you want to go breaking your back when you work for tips and there's nothing going on in the restaurant. But the cooks, they get paid a good wage, whether we're busy or whether we're not busy. That is the trade-off between working in the front of the house and the back of the house. So these guys have to get to cleaning. And they did a great job. All the chefs in the kitchen of the Village Tavern. And that Monday, after October, did an unbelievable job making sure they moved everything from every dark corner and crevice of that restaurant, of that kitchen, trying to make sure nothing got caught or stuck and made sure everything got cleaned. I was quite frankly impressed. I hadn't seen that much cleaning done in a long time, but it got so bad in there that even after they cleaned all the things, we cleaned out fridges and walk-ins and back and the front, behind the grill, behind the fry station, behind the pizza oven, all right? All of these places. Then they busted out a drill. We started hanging in new bells. So we didn't like just the hotel ding bell. We got a new one now. Ding. So we're hanging different bells, which means chefs got to get a power drill out the back and go right through the metal line. Oh, all that, still nothing. It was just, that's got to be the worst Monday of the year. I couldn't help but think about KFC and Feitleberg and just, oh man, really reminisce on how much I miss them and that KFC radio and all the writing that they used to do. Those guys were so funny. But now they've been in New York City for, it's got to be a decade now. And they've become different people and they laugh at different things. And they're in a different reality that I am no longer so much a part of. It doesn't mean we can't all appreciate each other. I don't even know where I was going with that. Anyways, it has been a pleasure. I very much enjoy this. I got to get back to waiting tables tonight. I think it's the last weekend that I'm going to be dealing this year. Waiting tables, we will find out. Take back your consciousness. I love you. I'm out. If you want to find out where else you can listen to this broadcast and you're a human, you can go to MugsyTheCreator.com. If you're a robot, I got nothing for you. I mean, unless you can subscribe over here. Or you can click this playlist. If you're a robot, you can do that. That would definitely help. Like, subscribe, whatever you want. Thanks a lot, guys.